Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. This is part 2 of the Dial Your Own Cam In Badly by Andy. Thanks to all the comments, especially the ones that pointed out all the mistakes I made. Yeah, whoopsie, I'm not very good at multitasking at the best of times, and trying to talk on the camera and also do the job is obviously a bit above me. So thanks to the chap who pointed out that I went 10th hour instead of 5th hour on the exhaust and got the exhaust figure wrong, and also to the chap who put the big comment about how I got the initial advanced figure incorrect. But anyway, we're on a dyno now. What I wish you could smell is, this is obviously an old, I think it's a Vixen, they have their own little championship. It's like a little single seater where the gearbox is upside down and this engine sits upright in the middle of the car or behind the driver. So it's not the same layout as him. You might recognise it's a bit of a different setup. Still an imp engine, and obviously this thing's not ran for years. I've had the exhaust coated or whatever, but when I first fired it up, I could smell the Castrol R40 in the workshop. I turned the fans off and just locked myself in here for 5 minutes. It was amazing. It's all burnt out now. We're on the modern synthetic oil, so boring, but it makes the engines last. So anyway, moving on. This engine, been doing a few runs on it. Obviously, we just the cam timing back to our original figures of 157, 140. So I thought it was a good starting point. It's producing power from sort of 4,500 RPM, which for the style of cam, it's what we call like an old school low lift, big duration cam. So it gets its area from its duration rather than from loads of lift. Probably because the valve spring technology wasn't around in like 1970 or whatever. But anyway, not getting too into all that. It's got loads of advance in it because it's not a high compression engine to start with. It's only a baby engine. It's a 998 because that's the class it has to run in if it wants to get its paperwork. So it struggles to gain any compression. We've got, I think, roughly about 11.5 to 1. So I'm able to run it. This will run with like 40 odd degrees max, but I'm not going to go there. We've set it at 38, and the advance curve is all wrong on the dizzy. I've got to sort that out yet, but thought for today, let's run it in, get a tune out of it. When the job came to me, it had all sorts of problems, as in it'd been someone else's job that had gone a bit belly. The head had been repaired and repaired and repaired, and it just, I said to the chap, it's a 50-50 job. It might work, it might not. I'll get the carbide and rip out all the old repairs, get it in the oven, get it hot, weld it all up again, and there's enough material on the head just about to get one last skim out of it and redo the wheel string grooves. So I have a set of guides with valve seals on, because obviously an upright engine, the oil tries to drain down the guides, so they're always smoky these, but put the modern 7mm seals from the X16 XC Vauxhall Corsa engine, and that's it, belting, never a problem again. So it's got the guide seals in it, it's got all new pistons, crank rods, all that's on 0 hours. It's all nice. Should get lots of fun out of this. I'll stop waffling, we'll get a tune out of it, and we'll go from there. I just thought, because you haven't actually seen the engine properly, because it's was in my background there, it is just an imp engine. Obviously they turned it over and put the imp gearbox upside down, so that instead of the gearbox being in front of the engine, it's behind it now, so you've still got 4 forwards gears. And then obviously they make a manifold and put these nice IDAs or IDFs or something on it. Nice carburetors, and then it's got a nice 4-inch 2-in-1 exhaust. Obviously the engine lays over that way, so all the oil filter housing that's normally underneath the engine is exposed. Has a bespoke sump with bespoke dipstick in it, and it's nice to see that it's not yet spewing the oil out of the back of the rear main oil seal. I have put a rear main oil seal conversion on this engine. I do it to all of the imp blocks now. Try and keep the oil inside the engine. So yeah, you can see the angle it lays over out there, and the carburetors obviously. So we'll go into the room now, get a tune out of this, and go from there. Right, so we're back in here now, safe side of the glass, so we can breathe and hear ourselves talk. I'll put the fans on, and we'll get a tune out of this and see if it's got any ponies. It seems to be quite strong, to be fair. Got good oil pressure. It's been a model student so far. Changed loads on the fueling. Had for people that are into the carburetors, it was using F15 emulsion tubes, and it's definitely going lean at the top end. So we've gone to an F16 now and brought the main jet down size, and it's cleaned it up in the middle and helped it at the top, which is a nice little result for me. So after this, I've still got to sort out the advance curve, because it's a typical old school Dizzy where it's doing all its advanced really low down in the RPM range, and really we wanted to try and get to do its advanced after peak torque. So we'll try and sort that out afterwards, and yeah, a bit more work on it to do. A bit of heat into it. Dyno let go of it, as you know from previous times down here. The rattling noise is my shaft on the dyno. Right, we'll go. We've got 4,000 there, so that's the holding about 55 foot-pound. Keep backing the dyno on. So at 5 it starts to go there about 75 foot-pound. Keep backing it off. There he goes again there. That's 8,000, 8,500. Whoops. Supposed to go in the end. Yeah, just jumped to 9 there. Once it gets to 6,000, this old school cam, they just love to rev. Let's go back to 8 and try and get a steady 8 figure. 7 there, holding about 75. Just back it up a little bit. These old school cams, they do sound different, you know. The inlets sound so raucous on them. I do quite like them. They just don't work as well in the middle, but they're really good at the top end. If this had a really good compression ratio, then it'd be quite a good engine. Let it capture it, come on. Right, that's an 8,000, so it's about 73, 75. Yeah, it's holding it okay, so there's not too much heat going into it. I do wonder if it'll run with a bit more advanced, I'll be honest, but I'll sort the Dizzy out and I'll do that. But I think we'll conclude the blunder video on this note now, and I'll look forward to seeing you guys soon in the next video.